So I'm going to be covering where to apply for scholarships or where to even find scholarship to apply for. So as we mentioned previously, OSAC for Oregon students is a great place to start because it functions like a big scholarship hub that hosts, I think they say about $17 million in scholarships. So they have a long list of scholarships that students can select to apply for, and it's all in one portal. You can submit one big application for many, many scholarships. And you can go through their lists and try to identify the ones that you'd have a better chance of getting based on your qualifications for the scholarship. Another place to look is your high school usually has something called either a college and career center or a future center or something along those lines where they host information for students about colleges and careers. And so if your school has that, I would highly recommend getting in touch with the person that's in charge of that center or that resource. It could be an advisor, it could be a teacher, it could be someone specifically dedicated just to that. And also your high school's website or your district website, which may also host information about local scholarships. That's a really great place to start. And we're going to talk a little bit later about why that is usually one of the best chances for students to win scholarships. There's also colleges and universities who host their own scholarships. So when you're applying for admissions, also make sure to check out what kind of scholarship opportunities those colleges offer. Many times your admissions application serves as an application for scholarships as well. So it'll double for that purpose. But many times colleges and universities have a separate application for even more scholarships from their institution. So keep an eye out for that, explore their website, ask around, and make sure to apply. And don't miss those deadlines. The other thing is that a lot of local businesses and nonprofit organizations will offer scholarships for students in their community. It's a great place to start looking to see if your local banks, credit unions, or even small businesses or companies in your area offer scholarships. And maybe even just ask your parents, does your employer offer scholarships? Can you ask? Because a lot of times there's employers that will say they'll accept applications from their employees' kids for scholarships. So keep that in mind, and it's worth asking. Don't be shy.
Can I add one thing to that?
Yeah, go for it.
Sometimes those local businesses and nonprofits don't necessarily technically have a scholarship, but if you ask, they will actually grant you one just by asking. I've had a lot of students tell me those scenarios. So sometimes they don't have a formal scholarship application process, but sometimes all it takes is asking. So it never, ever hurts to ask.
There you go. The other thing is a lot of national corporations have scholarships. Usually they're a little bit more competitive and harder to get, but just really big companies like Walmart, Taco Bell, McDonald's, you name it, all those really big companies tend to have something on their websites. It's kind of hidden and hard to find, but if you just like Google around, like check around some of those websites, many of them do have scholarships. They're usually split up with either national or regional areas to apply for. So like if you're in the Northwest, you would like, I think I remember applying for like McDonald's or something when I was in high school, and they broke it down by region. So I was competing with students from Oregon, Washington, Idaho. I think that was it, but just keep that in mind. They're not as easy to get because there's going to be a lot of students from all around the country applying, but it's worth a shot if you have the spare time to apply. Also, social media can be a huge time sink, but if you are already on there, might as well check if there's any good resources for scholarships. I know that for Oregonian students on Facebook, there's a group called Career and Colleges Resources for Oregon Students. It sounds kind of weird, but if you look that up, I'm sure you're going to find that group, and that actually has a lot of professionals from colleges and just different organizations from around Oregon, and they share a lot of opportunities for students. So if you join that group, I'm sure you're going to find some opportunities on there, and they're always posting. So that's a great place to look. There's also another page called the College Place Oregon, and that's run by an organization called ECMC, and they post a lot of great information for students on there as well. And I just want to make sure that I mention all this information applies to current high school students, but also to college students, to current college students. Remember that every year is a new college financial aid cycle. So every year students can apply for next year's scholarships and grants. And then lastly, I wrote down here, there's scholarship hubs such as fastweb.com. You got to be pretty careful with these because some of them are not super trustworthy. So just keep an eye out for that. I'll give you a couple tips in a little bit, but FastWeb will help you find scholarships. Usually there's a lot of big national ones. And like I mentioned before, those are kind of hard to get just because there's a lot more competition. But it's still definitely worth a shot just to look around and find some of those scholarships. There's really fun ones too. Like I know the duct tape scholarship for making a prom dress or a prom suit is a really popular one that students have a lot of fun doing. There's a lot of really weird, fun ones, and some that are really easy to apply for. It's just some of them just say create a 5-minute video about something you're passionate about or what you're proud of in your community, little things like that. It's worth a shot, especially if you have the time.